Imagine walking into your neighborhood frozen yogurt shop on a quiet December night. It's a place of happy memories, of first dates and after-school treats. But on this night, you find a scene so horrifying it would haunt an entire city for decades. For teenage girls, full of life and dreams, were brutally taken in a place that was supposed to be safe. This is the story of the infamous yogurt shop murders of Austin, Texas, a crime that shook America and remains one of the most disturbing mysteries in true crime history. It was Friday, December 6th, 1991. The city of Austin was glowing with holiday lights, and the streets buzzed with shoppers. At a popular spot called I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, 4 teenage girls were spending the evening together. 17-year-old Jennifer Harbison and her best friend, 17-year-old Eliza Thomas, were working the closing shift. Jennifer's younger sister, 15-year-old Sarah Harbison, and her friend, 13-year-old Amy Ayers, had joined them to hang out while the older girls finished their work. They were just for normal kids, chatting, cleaning up, and getting ready to close the shop. Around 10 p.m., the last official customers left, leaving the store quiet and seemingly safe. But by midnight, everything had changed. A nearby patrol officer noticed smoke rising from the building. Firefighters rushed to the scene, battling the flames that had quickly engulfed the small shop. When the fire was finally under control, what they discovered was unimaginable. The 4 girls had been bound and murdered before the fire was set. The blaze had been started intentionally, a deliberate and cruel attempt to destroy all evidence. The scene was so terrifying that even the most experienced officers were deeply shaken. One detective later said, "This wasn't just murder. This was something evil." As the investigation began, a few key details emerged that only complicated the case. Some witnesses reported seeing suspicious activity outside the shop that evening, including 2 men who were acting strangely near the tables. Another man had reportedly used the restroom at the back of the shop about an hour before closing, but he was never fully identified. These limited accounts suggested that there was more than one person involved in this horrific crime. The investigation became one of the largest and most complex in Austin's history. Hundreds of tips and leads were followed, but the crime scene had been severely damaged by the fire, making physical evidence incredibly hard to collect. The brutality and organization of the attack suggested multiple perpetrators, yet no clear suspects emerged for years. Detectives considered several theories. Was it a random robbery that went horribly wrong? Or did the killers know the girls or the layout of the shop? Some even theorized it could have been the act of a serial killer operating in the area. The city was on edge, with no answers in sight. Then, years later, in the late 1990s, there was a breakthrough. 4 young men Robert Springsteen, Michael Scott, Morris Pierce, and Forrest Welburn were arrested. After long and intense interrogations, Springsteen and Scott confessed, providing disturbing and detailed accounts of the murders. It seemed like the case was finally closed. But soon, serious doubts began to surface. Their confessions didn't quite align with the evidence that had been collected at the scene. And then came the DNA. DNA testing revealed that biological material from the crime scene did not match any of the 4 suspects. On top of that, both men claimed their confessions were coerced, forced out of them under extreme pressure. Despite these huge inconsistencies, Springsteen was sentenced to death, and Scott received a life sentence. Justice, it seemed, was served. But was it the right justice? It wouldn't last. In 2009, with huge advances in DNA technology, both of their convictions were overturned. The unknown male DNA from the scene still did not match any known individual in any database, leaving the true killers unidentified and presumably free. The reaction from the families and the public was intense and heartbreaking. Parents in Austin feared for the safety of their children. The families of Jennifer, Sarah, Eliza, and Amy were devastated all over again, grappling not only with the unbearable loss of their daughters, but also with the realization that the true perpetrators might never be caught. The city lived in fear, and the case became a national story, featured on shows like America's Most Wanted and Unsolved Mysteries, keeping the tragedy in the public eye for decades. Even today, more than 30 years later, the yogurt shop murders remain an open case, haunting the community and investigators alike. The original shop no longer exists, but memorials and annual remembrances ensure that Jennifer, Sarah, Eliza, and Amy are never forgotten. Their lives, so full of promise, were taken far too soon. Their story is a chilling reminder of innocence, lost and justice still desperately sought. So what do you think really happened that night in December 1991? Were the wrong people arrested? Or is the true killer or killers still out there somewhere? Share your theories and thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive into more true crime stories like this one, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.
Subscribe for a mind rush.